Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and honored guests. Can you think back to the last time you were taught how to read? Most of you probably don't even remember, that's how long it's been. On average, you're about 12 years old, or in 5th grade, the last time you were taught how to read. You were given tools to break down words and sound them out. So each and every word that we were taught how to read, a word like university, would be broken down into like 5 parts. University. So we broke down words. As we get older, we learn how to read words more fluidly. We're also taught to read slowly. We're taught to read one word at a time, reading each and every word. Something I was told as a kid in elementary school was that you shouldn't use your finger on the page as you read. I don't know if any of you were told that, but I was. I believe that was a mistake, and I'll explain why. And lastly, you were also told that you should read out loud to the class. 1st and 2nd grade, you were reading out loud to the class. 3rd and 4th grade, you couldn't have all these kids reading up front, so you were told to read silently in your head, but you're actually saying the words to yourself as you're reading. So we've got 3 major problems, and I'd like to demonstrate it to you using this very simple layout here. This is how most of us read in general when we're reading a book. Now, I went backwards. Does this look familiar to any of you guys? How many times have you been reading a book, you lose your spot, you go back on the page? There's 3 major problems that we have here. Number 1 is fixation, fixating on a word, when you're staring at each and every word. Second problem is regression. 33% of the time, on average, people are regressing. That means for every 3 hours of reading that you're doing, 1 hour is spent rereading material you've already read. And our third one is auditory reassurance, and that's just a big, 2 big words that mean that you're saying the words to yourself so that you can verify that you know what you're saying. Now, do you guys think that you can think faster than you can talk?
Oh yeah.
Right? Of course. You can think way faster than you can talk. So why are we only reading at the speed that we can talk to ourselves? Because essentially that's what we're doing. Now, I put together a little program for you guys to test it out. You can test this on your own time. I don't have enough time allotted here to do it for you guys. But this will help your speed, it will help your comprehension, and it'll help your retention. So, with that said, number 1 is use your finger. Now, I'm going to give you a little demonstration. Now, hopefully you all can see my eyes as I do this. As I use my eyes to follow from one thumb to the next, watch the fixation that happens as I go from one thumb to the next. You can see that it's very jittery. Now, if I do the same exercise, but I actually move my thumb from one side to the other, your eyes move in a smooth, fluid motion. So the point is, having your finger on the page, your eyes actually follow your finger and they just glaze over the words. They're not stopping and fixating each and every time. So that's step 1. If you were taking a trip from Pennsylvania to California, would it not be beneficial for you to look at the map from Pennsylvania to California? Maybe plan your route, determine which direction you were going. The same thing is true for a book. And maybe not a fiction book, but for all nonfiction material, textbook material, it's in your best interest to read the first and the last paragraph of each and every chapter. That gives you the main idea and the summary of the entire book. Now, after reading the first and last paragraph of each and every chapter, you could actually decide that this isn't a book that you're wanting to read, and last week that actually happened to me. Secondarily, we're going to do an overview, which is you're going to read the first sentence of each paragraph throughout that first chapter. Once again, this is the main idea of each paragraph going through the chapter. And the point of this is to give you the whole summary of that whole chapter. And now, if you don't want the details, you don't need them. You've read the chapter. You have all the main ideas. But thirdly, if for whatever reason you need those details in that book, we're going to read it, but we're going to use our finger, as I said. And we're going to vary our reading speed. Because once again, if you're in a process of using your finger, your mind's going to start to wander because you're doing something very repetitive. So by slowing it down during the first sentence so we can grasp that main idea one more time, and then just speeding up slowly as we read through the paragraph, your reading comprehension will go through the roof. I've done it, I've proven it. Your retention will go through the roof, and your speed will also go through. A lot of this information was actually pulled out of the speed reading course. So that being said, once again, we're going to use our finger at all times throughout the whole reading process. Number one is going to be the preview, which is the first and last paragraph of each chapter, which is your main idea and your summary. You're going to do your overview, which is going to be the first sentence of each paragraph throughout the chapter. And then as we read it, we're going to use variable speed using our finger, which our elementary teachers told us not to do. Thank you.